Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for joining me on my transformation series. This is part 4. I'm doing 30 days, only ground beef, 3 pounds per day. Now, some of you say that that is extreme, and it is extreme. But let's not focus on where I am now. Let's focus on where I came from. So I started this about 5 months ago. At that time, I was about 30 pounds heavier than I am now. What I'm trying to do at this point is get my body fat percentage down. I've already decreased my body fat. I've already put on more muscle, but I'm trying to get my body fat percentage lower by utilizing these different techniques. I haven't always had this kind of self-control. When I started in December, that was my goal, was to work up to getting self-control. Now that I have self-control, I can do different things like 30 days of ground beef. But this is not sustainable, and I'm going to go on my sustainable diet next, which will be 30 days of sustainable diet. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that later. Also, at the end, I have my results, day 1 to day 30, which measures my muscle mass and my body fat percentage. And I also did a laboratory test for different markers such as cholesterol, testosterone, um, blood cells, you name it. So I'll be sure to share that with you at the end. While I was doing this, I did take some supplements. I took psyllium fiber, magnesium, niacin, vitamin D3, super B vitamin complex, biotin, acetyl L-carnitine, creatine, cacao powder, and 1 scoop of whey protein per day. So this challenge was not hard for me at all, actually. Ground beef is rather satisfying. So what I did is I bought the 88% lean ground beef from BJ's, and I would cook that, and then I would strain the fat. And I would eat that every day, 3 pounds per day, and I would split that up into 3 meals. Put salt on it, garlic, and eat it, and it was great. I felt like I wasn't really getting results. My weight was staying pretty much the same. So I decided I would start washing the meat so that the fat content would go down out of the meat so that I could use more of my own body fat. I found that when I did this, I became a little bit depressed. It was kind of like the egg white challenge, or if I eat chicken breast, very low fat. I did learn that very low fat makes me feel depressed. And this is something that I learned through my own experimentation. I found that I was pooping every day, and I was taking the psyllium fiber twice a day plus magnesium. So eventually what I did is I started to cut back on that down to 1 time a day, and then I cut it back altogether. So something interesting that I found was that, and I theorized that my intestines got stronger just from eating only ground beef. I think it's because the intestines have to work harder to push it through. All right, so I'm going to bring up my results here on the screen. This is day 1 results. You'll see my InBody assessment. And here's my day 30 results. I'm going to put these side by side. I was a little disappointed in what I saw. I think it has something to do with the InBody machine, because I certainly don't feel like I gained any body fat percentage. I don't look like I gained any body fat percentage. What I do know is that I gained strength from this. And it shows on the InBody that I did gain about 3 ounces of muscle. I want to go over my lab results with you. This is going to be interesting for many of you to see what happened to my body while I was doing this 30-day ground beef challenge. Here they are. Okay, guys, so I used a website called Ulta Lab Tests. This is my first time using this site, but I was actually very pleased when I used this site because the prices that I found for the lab tests that I ordered were very competitive and inexpensive. So I ordered it and I got my lab tests scheduled at Quest Diagnostics for the next day, and they already had the request from Ulta Lab Tests for my blood work. I got most of the blood work actually back the next day, and the other blood work came back probably about 5 days later. That was like my testosterone and stuff like that. All right. As you know, I was eating 3 pounds of ground beef per day only. So my cholesterol, total cholesterol, is showing 308, which is high, and that was to be expected. My triglycerides are 97, which is actually really good. My cholesterol to HDL-C ratio is 51, and that's high. It's a little high. It's over 5.1. Here's the important thing right here, my LDL to HDL ratio. Your LDL is what they consider to be bad cholesterol. Your HDL is considered to be good cholesterol. Both of them are not bad because you need them for hormone production, for your brain and nerve functioning, and lots of other functions in the body. HDL helps to keep balance the LDL. HDL to LDL ratio is showing 3.8, which shows average risk. Okay, so this is not higher than it should be. Since I'm not eating carbohydrates, my inflammation in my body is lower. You have more inflammation in your body when you consume carbohydrates. This inflammation can cause tear in your blood vessels, and that can cause the cholesterol to be lodged in there and then calcify. So the inflammation in my body is actually really low because I'm doing a ketogenic type diet. The other fact of my triglycerides being in a very healthy range, that also lends credence to the idea that my blood vessels are clear. And actually, I did have a scan about 6 months ago of my peripheral arteries and my carotid artery, and they were all clear of plaque. And I have been doing carnivore diet on and off for some time. And it shows here my HDL cholesterol is pretty good. It's high. It's in the green. LDL cholesterol is also high. All right, so thyroid, my TSH levels are 1.01. You don't want TSH to be too high. It can indicate that your body's not producing enough thyroid hormone and your pituitary gland is stimulating more TSH release. But it's within normal range. And my T4, free T4 is 1.3. It's kind of like in the middle of the range, which is a very healthy level. Now, my fasting glucose shows 94. You might be wondering how that is possible since I'm not eating any carbohydrates. Well, the liver does something called gluconeogenesis. This turns fat, it turns protein into carbohydrate. So you never in your life have to touch one single carbohydrate because your liver can change fat and proteins into carbohydrates. Testosterone. So guys, this is the one that we're all interested in. And frankly, I'm a little disappointed in this. I mean, it is 533. That's in the normal range, in the middle of the normal range. But the last time I got it tested was 900. It can vary for different reasons. I think I was a little bit tired in the morning when I took this test. Going down, my free testosterone, again, that's within the normal range. Sex hormone binding globulin, that's a little bit high, but that's to be expected because when you're eating a carnivore diet, your blood protein levels are going to be higher. So sex hormone binding globulin is a result of that higher protein content. But I'm not worried about that because the testosterone is still spread evenly out. My free testosterone levels are in a good range as well. And DHE, that's an androgen, a male androgen, a weak male androgen that has various anti-aging benefits in the body. So for my age, I'm within a good range. Liver health, I'm not going to go into this too much. These are ALT, AST. Those are the markers for liver inflammation. So if these are elevated, that shows that your liver is having some harm done to it. Everything is good, looking within the normal range. Let's go to my kidneys. All right, now you're going to see some red here. First, what we have is the BUN, blood urea nitrogen. It is showing high. Also, my creatinine is showing high. But here's the thing. If you have a high protein diet, your BUN levels are going to be a little higher. And also, my creatinine levels, that's also affected by high protein diet. In addition to a high protein diet, I also take creatine. So these markers are high, even though I drink 4 liters of water per day. And as you can see down here, my glomerular filtration rate, EGFR, is over 60, and that's so good. All right. Calcium is within normal range. Uric acid is also within normal range. Electrolytes, sodium, potassium, chloride, carbon dioxide. How are my sodium, potassium doing fine when I'm only eating meat and no vegetables? Well, that's because the meat has everything you need and your body also will regulate it. You eat pink Himalayan salt and that may contain a little bit of potassium in it, but it also has sodium and other minerals as well. Okay. And blood health, iron, normal, platelets, red blood cells, all that is normal. My white blood cell count was a little bit low, but that's actually also considered normal for certain types of individuals. I mean, like I said, it's just 2 under the range here and everything else looks normal. So, all right, that's my test results. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a comment if you have any questions, and I'll see you in the next one.